Hey guys, welcome back to another video talking about the way Sherlock uses semiotic techniques and contemporary possibilities. To start off, let's talk about the way Sherlock uses semiotic techniques. In every scene in Sherlock, there is always at least two modes. In episode 1, season 1, Sherlock explains how much he knows about John Watson. When Sherlock asks and explains how and why he asked the question, Afghanistan or Iraq, and deduced on in the taxi, he goes over what he saw. During this scene, the techniques really stand out. Visually, in every specific thing John had or did in the first time he met Sherlock, Sherlock deducted it. At each bit of evidence, Sherlock tells John what he deducted. The first film switches into extreme rotating shot of the example, such as his hair, tan, sympathetic limp, and posture. The purpose of these visuals is to show us how Sherlock does his job. To audio now. When Sherlock is explaining how he figured out John was an army doctor, the beat of the track speeds up to match how fast and accurate Sherlock can deduct someone or something like a crime scene. There is also a zoom-in audio effect whenever Sherlock points out a feature of John, such as his tan on his wrist. This effect shows the viewer on what Sherlock focuses on to evaluate his target. Another technique is spatial positioning. In the beginning and end of the scene, we see Sherlock and John in the back of the taxi together. The space and position the two are sitting in gives the viewer a sense of friendship between Sherlock and John. For example, if instead one of them was sitting in the front seat and the other was sitting in the back, this would imply to the viewer to assume that they were acquaintances, since they wouldn't feel comfortable enough to sit next to each other like friends. But because they sit together in the back in every taxi scene, we know they're friends. The final semiotic technique in Sherlock used is the gestures individuals make. When John says to Sherlock, "The police don't consult amateurs," Sherlock smiles. This gesture implies Sherlock likes the fact John underestimates him. In the sort of way Sherlock gets off by deducting people. When Sherlock finally answers the question, Afghanistan or Iraq, and John announces his work is brilliant, you feel as the viewer the amount of satisfaction behind Sherlock's small smile. With all these semiotic techniques used simultaneously, it turns the show into a multimodal television show and really makes the show that one bit more interesting and fascinating to watch. Now, in the second half of this video, we'll discuss about the contemporary possibilities featured in the show. In this modern twist of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's text Sherlock Holmes, the BBC decided to go with a more technology-based version of the classic. For example, real-time vlogs that Sherlock and John use in the show, the use of mobile phones in the show, and even to the point of Sherlock having a Twitter account that's canon in relation to the plot. The main use of these contemporary possibilities is to make the viewer feel protected and relate to Sherlock, since in this day and age, terrorism and mental health issues are rising, and society's fear of these problems are increasing. And in having somebody like the protagonist, Sherlock, that solves issues that the police can't even solve, reassures and comforts us from the fears the media creates. Another reason the creators of Sherlock introduced the use of technology to the series is to make Sherlock relatable to the viewer. For example, if the series Sherlock was based in 19th century London, the viewer wouldn't feel as close or understand Sherlock, since we don't live in that time. The use of everyday technology in this show is to make the viewer understand and relate to Sherlock, since we experience and use most of the apps and problems Sherlock and John find in the series Sherlock. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share this video amongst friends. That would be much appreciated. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.